So what's up with Logan Paul, bro?
Man, you want to talk about Logan Paul here? I'm gonna show you a small clip and then react to it after. Kind of feel
Yes,
for the guy a
sir.
little bit.
Did you see his podcast with Andrew Schultz on Flagrant?
I saw it, but it's not like I'm that interested in watching it.
You like
It
someone
was
you
pretty
thought
cool.
was going to be cool. Can you say who that
I
was?
mean,
So I understood
You
it.
ever had a hero disappoint you, like someone who you thought was going to be cool? Can you say who that was?
The Rock.
The Rock, really?
After Japan happened, obviously found myself in a hole, rightfully so, that I had never been in before.
Mm-hmm.
Extremely low mentally. And I got a call from my publicist who also repped Dwayne, The Rock Johnson. And she's like, hey, Dwayne has asked that you remove every picture and video that you've done with him. And maybe in the future, the relationship can be reconciled. But for now, he basically wants nothing to do with you.
You ever had a hero disappoint you?
So I understood it, and that was the other part.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, fuck. I sleep in the bed you make, right? But I just wish I would have gotten like a call or a text or something, because like I thought we had a healthy relationship, an open line of communication, and I was so sad that my hero wanted nothing to do with me. So
yeah, okay, so that's what he said, right?
Mhm.
And people got on him in the comment section.
I believe. Wait, hold on. But I also believe that he also added that Dwayne ended up DMing him. He has a response to that DM. He's left it inside his DMs. He's never responded to him.
Oh,
I'm not sure if you know that part, but
no, because I mean, what I was gonna go for is that in the comment section they're just roasting him and saying, well, obviously he's gonna stop talking to you, but like, why don't you think that people can put themselves in his shoes or empathize and just understand that he was on extremely low, right? He understood that what he did was wrong. Like he said it, that I understand why The Rock doesn't want to talk to me or doesn't want anything to do with me. I understand that, but I can understand why he would want some guidance. You know what I mean? Like he would want somebody to just talk to him, even if The Rock was just like calling him to just maybe lecture him, like, hey, you really messed up, right? Or something. Because I can understand how alone he must have felt when the whole world just turned against them, rightfully so, because he admitted it, right? He took responsibility. But I understand wanting some guidance from somebody, but I don't understand whether people in the comments should be like, why are you looking for empathy? Like, why are you trying to justify? It's like, he's not trying to justify. He's just saying he just wanted some guidance.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like one of the main issues of why people didn't want to like Logan in the first place is, firstly, they didn't like his brother Jake, right? And they saw a lot of Jake's antics as a reflection of Logan. And though Logan was a wild child, he was nowhere on the level of Jake, right? So I do believe he kind of got brought into this whole huge wave of the Jake's hate, and it kind of just also went on to him. But with that being said, after everything happened, I think Logan is a great example of how to uncancel yourself, because he was straight perseverance, and he literally fought for everything he has now. He literally he went to the ring, at his lowest. He lost all his supporters. He lost anyone that wanted to talk to him. This and that. Then he fights KSI. Then his brother starts getting into the ring. He fights KSI again, and then he fights Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? So it's like, and that, I'm sure that still hangs over him. The numbers aren't what they used to be, and I'm sure that still affects him and whatnot. But I personally, I don't know the guy, I respect him and the grind he's put through. That he went through. First, the initial grind. He was a Vine kid that made it on YouTube, but not a lot of people from Vine made it onto YouTube the way that he did. I think he has like 20 million subs, right? And then he lost everything, and he got it back. Like, that's not an easy thing to do.
No,
right? It's not an easy thing to become a millionaire twice.
I mean, he's the only person that I know that was successful at coming back from like YouTube, right? Like after, if you get canceled on YouTube, it's pretty much over for you. He's the only person that I know that kind of came back, and I mean, I don't know how famous he was before, but maybe you know, like
he was pretty famous. I would argue that he at the time at the height of his career, he was probably him and Jake were definitely the biggest people on YouTube at the height, right? It was so big to a point where PewDiePie made a fake account because I think Jake had a song where he was like 1 million subs on YouTube in 1 million subs on YouTube in 6 months, never done before. So PewDiePie as a meme to that song, because that song has hundreds of millions of views, he was like, he made a fake YouTube account called Jacksepticeye 2, and that it got 1 million subscribers in like a day. But he did it as a response to Jake. He did it. The whole diss track stuff and all that stuff becoming big on YouTube. That's the Paul brothers fighting. YouTubers fighting. That's the Paul brothers. So that their influence on YouTube, why there's more YouTube podcasts popping up. That's definitely Joe Rogan. But I think Logan definitely has a push in there. I think Logan. I think Impulsive is definitely one of the most influential podcasts that exists currently. That their setup of Logan, Mike, and one comedian right now, I think is basically the format that a lot of people are trying to follow now. The 3 to 4 man setup. A lot of people aren't doing dual podcasts as much as they used to do. Like there's very few people doing that. A lot of people are going like for 2 to 3 people because there's like a dynamics they can play with and whatnot. But I mean, what do you think about Logan? Do you know a lot about Logan?
Honestly, I don't know anything about him. Like the only thing I know was the whole, thing that happened in the forest.
Yeah,
that's the first time I ever heard of him was from that. I wasn't like a fan of him at all. I didn't know him. I just knew from the forest thing. I'm like, oh, that happened. I just moved on, and then he started coming back. And I mean, his reputation from what I knew was like, yeah, he got better and he became a better person from like I was heard. But the reason I wanted to talk about it was not for him, right? It was because I just find it weird that people don't understand that. One, I think that was a different person. I think he has grown from that person that he was. It's just the whole thing that people don't want to forgive him for that, even though I think he has. I mean, he has done the work that most people don't do. He's not doubling down. Like he was not making fun of it. Right? He didn't disappear. Like he every single time it ever comes up, I always hear him being really like sorry and apologetic about it.
I feel like here's the reality of a certain amount of humans. Sadly, there are people that don't advance in their lives, right? There are people that once they see someone else advance, they can't. They seem to not be able to forget the type of person that they was before, right? I give an example, right? Let's make it more personal, right? For you, so I can give an example. Let's say that I met when I first met you, right? Very much more quieter, not very worldly experienced, and not a ladies' man. Let's go with those three qualities, right?
False. You haven't seen my DMs back in those days.
Because they were dry. There were no DMs. But like I was saying, let's say an old coworker or whatever that still works the same job, the exact same position, maybe a little bit more pay, would come to you and be like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Nah, no, you're not, bro. I know you. You're still that same kid that did this. You're still that same kid that could never do this and all that stuff. They just can't let it go. They feel like they know you, but they don't understand that you've advanced since the last time you saw them. They can't get rid of the image that they have in the head of you. Because if to change the image they have of you, it means that they have to look at themselves in the mirror and like, damn, bro, my life just sucks. I have a buddy that's like that, bro. I have a buddy. He brought up I'm not sure what he brought up at one point, right? He brought up in a conversation. I was playing on Xbox or whatever, and he brought up me like either like having like bad internet or just not being good at a game or whatever. And I told him like, well, when was this? And he was like, bro, come on, you've been like this for years. And I was like, bro, the last time that was even a thing was like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, oh no. And then, yeah, he was making other things like, oh, you don't play the game enough, you don't do this, you don't do that. I'm like, dog, not to be disrespectful, you live with your mom, you live with your pops, right? I own a car. I am in the process of moving into a new house. I have a family. I have a girlfriend that I love very much. I have things outside of whatever the fuck you got going on. Thing is, you want me to stay the person I was years ago and continue to live. You want me to continue to live the exact same way, but that's not what's happening, bro. I'm advancing in life, and you can be that little, whatever you were 5 years ago, but I'm not that person.
Yeah.
You never dealt with something like that before in your life. Where someone couldn't really see what you are now. They can only see what you were before.
No, I don't think so. It's probably because I keep my circle so small. It's not like I keep people like that. And if now that I can think of right now, maybe it has happened. Like the only thing I can think of, but this is like high school stuff. I don't know if you think is relevant, but it was basically like the last year of high school, and someone kept accusing me of like changing for some reason. Because they were like, Jose thinks that he's too cool for school.
Too cool for school, yeah.
Because all I said was like, I understand that the only thing I need is one credit. The credit that I need is for the 4th period class. So like, I don't come to class for the other 7 periods. And they were like, oh, you think you're cool now? I'm like, well, the only one I need is the 4th one. If I just pass that one, I pass regardless.
Yeah.
Oh, you think you're cool now? But I don't know if that is relevant or that's what you meant.
Well, I mean, but even okay, but let's use that example, and I'll just multiply that by 20 million people, and that's why it seems like someone like Logan can't be forgiven because we could all you gotta do is magnify that by 1 million people or even 500,000 people, and it seems as those 500,000 people since they want to seem so loud that certain people can't be forgiven. I think that's why Logan was forgiven in the long run, was because enough people started to realize he's not the guy that everyone claims for him to be, especially not the guy he was years ago.
It was like how old he was when he did that.
He was like 20, probably like your age, like 24, 23. Yeah.
I mean, he admits that he did a mistake, but so he left The Rock on scene after the podcast or something like that, or
so apparently, since his career has been on up and up, The Rock has DM'd him. At least I remember I'm hearing this correctly. The Rock has DM'd him. He hasn't opened up the message.
He doesn't know. Like, okay, yeah, he didn't open the DMs. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, and I don't know. This could be like a different conversation at this point. That the older I get, I kind of look at the Rock a little bit weird.
Me too, bro.
Like,
let's see. We'll make this quick. But what do you mean by that?
Like, he seems like a person that doesn't stand for anything.
You know what it is? He's not my hero no more, bro. He's not, and I feel like it's like you're saying. It's like when I look at him now, I see Hollywood. Blank. Yeah, blank. I just see a Hollywood, and I see whatever it takes to make the next film as big as possible.
Yeah, like I don't. It's like worries so much about public perception and tries to be on the right side, right? And like he's I mean, if I'm putting myself in Logan's shoes, right? At my lowest, you want nothing to do with me, which I understand. And now that I'm, flying high and everything, you want to congratulate me potentially.
Yeah.
you know, to me,
And
it's like,
I'm sure it's most likely get on the podcast. If anything, if he hopefully he would, I would hope that it's for congratulations. But usually how these Hollywood circles work is I scratch your back, you scratch my back. So I would imagine it's to get on that podcast. You know, he's had Arnold on there. He's had Mike Tyson on there. So he's had some pretty big name people on his podcast before.
yeah,
You know, and
yeah, it's,
yeah,
it's
man.
I don't know. It's like I just don't know, like what do you value? Like the only thing I seen that he values is freaking, I don't know, like his energy drink, soa, whatever the fuck it is. You know,
Yeah.
Hawaii, the only thing he cares about. I'm like, I can't relate to you because you're kind of like, I don't know, like what are you? Who are you? Like I don't think I could have a conversation with him. Like having him on a podcast, I'm like, what are you? What can you
You know
talk
what it
about?
is? You know what I think it is, bro? We haven't heard him have like a real conversation. We see him do interviews,
But
but
they're
we
like
haven't.
about movies,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like we have not seen him actually say something that he stands for.
Yeah, like the only thing I've ever heard of him is like the $7 story that he had. Like, I had
Yeah,
$7 in my
yeah,
pocket.
yeah.
But other than that, like I don't know anything about him. And I'm realizing that I'm like, I don't know anything about this fucking
I
guy.
mean, he has a show. I'm sure that the show is supposed to tell us more about him, but I have no
Oh,
interest
the
in
rock
watching the show.
show. There's
But
another show he had dollars or some shit like that.
yeah, but
But weird.
that's Logan Paul right there, man. If you guys don't know, I believe you guys should. If you have any type of resentment towards him, please forgive the guy. He's a decent guy, man. Like, subscribe, share. You like more content like this, let us know. We're almost at 80. We're 1 away from 80. Get us to 80. The goal is to hit 90 by the end of August. We're supposed to hit 90 by we're supposed to hit 80 by August, but now let's hit 90 by the end of August. So going into September and 100 by the end of the year. Those are the goals. Please get us there. Love you guys.